So we are here today to introduce to you the best show that's going to be on YouTube from past, present, and the future. We are here on the congregation couch. I am the P.I.M.P, aka the Presidential Intellectual Masculinity Perceived. This is my comrade and partner in crime and doing things that rhyme, Pastor Marquise Combs.
Appreciate that introduction, man. God created mankind, so everything was good already. And then, while everything was good, he decided to create mankind in his own image.
His own image. We're going to start it off from the very beginning on what I believe to be what started all the simple things going on, the anti-pimp way, the anti-dip on your chip way, you know what I'm saying? The things that get you where you want to go, get you in your move and your groove. Adam fell us all, baby, and I'm here to let y'all know that the pimp way is on the way. You understand me? This 1100 famous, I done said I hold this pimping house. You know what I'm saying? This dip on my chip go long, understand me?
It go long.
It go long and strong, understand me, pal? Go long and strong, huh, baby?
We still,
you understand me,
this
pal?
guy right here, he still
understand me,
we
pal?
got to pray. We got to pray just to make it today.
We got to pray just to make it today.
I don't fool with them canteen of things, pal. I eat them pick chips, you understand me? I like a lot of dip, Pastor.
Maggi onion soup and Nestle reduced cream for the freshest, creamiest dip.
A whole lot of dip on my chip.
We're going to try to get back to this verse. He showed out every now and then. We got to wait on him sometime, but we're going to get back to the word.
So, I let them scoop, Pastor.
Verse 2. Verse 2. That's what happened when the word try to go full. Somebody always trying to talk.
Hey, big grab, Pastor. Hey, you want the big grab?
We never know how the show gonna go. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give him a moment.
Big grab, Pastor. Hey, Pastor, hold it.
Lord help. Verse 2.
I want all of it, Pastor. All of it.
Verse 2.
You understand me?
No matter what his lifestyle consists of, it shouldn't have nothing to do with my lifestyle. It shouldn't have nothing to do with your lifestyle.
He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone.
Because all of us grow at different times. All of us are making moves at different times. Not like we change. Some people change because they got old. Some people change because they had a hip replacement. They can't do what they used to do. They can't go do it.
What are you talking about?
Get this out of your pocket, man.
That's all me.
All of this.
That's
all of that.
me.
Mm-hmm. Some people change because they got a bad liver, got a bad heart, but whatever it was in people's life, change came for the better at different times.
Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes.
Different life circumstances change all of them.
Hey, Pastor, it may come a time when I get with this pimping up, Pastor. It may be a time that come, Pastor, but obviously today ain't that day, understand me? You may have a new BBW next
Back my head.
Today ain't that day, Pastor. So I believe that this lifestyle I live is going to help us reach more souls. And until I deem that that's contrary to that, this pimping go right on, baby.
Right on.
All right, church. The original hater, we done gave it to y'all real proper light. Once again, we have to reiterate on the dip on your chip.
Maggi onion soup and Nestle reduced cream for the freshest, creamiest dip.
Understand me? So we go make sure we come to with y'all with the word, with his pimping, and a pastor. Survival of the simple. All right, couch. Can y'all hear me? I'm just doing a little test. This is our first live here. I gotta get the sound things in order. Understand me? Get my Bruce over here. Oh, that sounds real good. All right. If you want to join the chat, the link right there is tagged right there. Understand me? All you gotta do is click the link and I'll see you in the background, understand me? If you really want to get on in, understand me? Anybody's welcome. But we're going to jump right into these topics tonight. We're going to talk about, number one, is our first live. Understand me? We had a big celebration last week for my birthday. Didn't really do our regular show, but I think this was a good opportunity for us to go ahead and go in on some new variation of material. Understand me? So we go deep dive on what exactly is, per se, what exactly is a simp. We got a whole repertoire of material tonight. We go deep dive on what a simp is. Understand me? We'll see how the Lord feels about it. We're going to look up some scriptures. Understand me? Give a little bit of context. Understand me? And we just go deep dive on diving. Let me go ahead and get these topics up there for y'all. Hold on real quick. Got my laptop. Understand me? Once again, if you want to join the show, go ahead and click on in. If y'all have any sound issues, go ahead and let me know. We'll go drive into that first topic. What is simping? So we need to go ahead and define what exactly is simping. Understand me? So from a biblical perspective, from what I studied, we got the pastor on board for a reason. So basically, simping just boils down to you not maintaining your God energy. When I say your God energy, I'm referring to your masculinity as a man. Now, what is masculinity? Understand me? It's basically understanding how to conduct yourself in a way that breeds leadership and integrity and morals and direction and purpose. Understand me? Men and women can accomplish this task. Men and women can be masculine, understand me? But the moral of this show and the overall goal is to get people in a position where they can really get what they want out of life, wherever that may be. Understand me? Whether you want a new job, you want a family, you want to start a business, you want to, live a happily ever after. It's way easier to do that task if you have some help. Understand me? And the best way to get that help as a heterosexual man is learn how to be in your masculine frame at all times. Understand me? So we outline what simping is. So simping basically is not maintaining masculine frame as a man. The first example of that is our first episode. If you go back and look on our show, we start off with the first episode. It was Adam, the original simp. Understand me? He was the first one to start all the simp things. Man, that's good. If it weren't for Adam, understand me, not keeping his masculine frame, who knows? We might still be in the Lake Minnetonka, land of milk and honey, in Lake Minnetonka, understand me? Running around, frolicking, eating, partaking from all the land and all the fruits and the berries and whatnot. But that ain't what happened. And the first sign of trouble, it may not have been the first time. Who knows? We weren't there to see it. But whenever Adam had the opportunity to maintain masculine frame and say, hey, babe, referring to Eve, understand me? When given the opportunity to really tell her, hey, the Lord said, don't partake of that fruit, understand me? Why don't we just go ahead and do what the Lord said, and then we'll be okay? And that still resides with us, understand me? I can illustrate this situation with a story on my own, understand me? There was a time when I was doing a lot of simp things. Those days are over. But every simp situation I was in was not beneficial for my life. Y'all chime in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this so far. Have you even heard of a simp? I heard a lot of people say they never even heard the word simp before. Some people not even heard that word. Let me go ahead and turn the comments on so I can see what y'all see. If y'all seen anything. So we illustrate what is simping. So once again, what is simping is nothing more than not maintaining your masculine frame. It is extremely important for heterosexual men to maintain their masculinity. Why is this? Because the energy is going to balance itself. The more, excuse me, let's get Bruce. The more masculine a man is, the more feminine inherently a woman has to be in order to date him, in order to be a part of his program. The energy is always going to balance itself. It's not about right and wrong. It's just about the energy is going to do what the energy is going to do. Masculinity will always attract femininity, and femininity will always attract masculinity. Understand me? That's just what it is. I didn't make these rules. I just learned to live by them. That's why you see me with 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 women. Understand me? Every now and then. That's not because I'm so handsome. It's not because I'm rich. It's because I learned and I understood how to maintain masculinity most of the time. And a man is able to do that nowadays is extremely rare, it seems like. So an inherent byproduct of me maintaining that is not having women problems at all whatsoever. It's extremely rare where I can't remember last time I really had an argument with a woman, like for real. Other than just maybe give her some correction. So I hope we kind of illustrated what is simping. We can go ahead and move on to the next topic. Once again, if anybody want to chime in, like, subscribe, and share. Understand me? It's our first live of a minute. Just getting things started. I appreciate everybody chiming in right now. We got 7 people watching. That's more than I expected. Hey, a while ago. All right, so it said, what is simping? Now we're going to move on to what is a simp. Understand me? Now, I said myself, I would consider myself a simp once upon a time. All right, fellas. I'm going to give y'all some bad news. Most of us were simps, have been simps, and probably still are simps right now. Understand me? How do you know you're a simp? If a woman, not even just women, this is just life in general. Like, people treat you a certain way when you're not in simp energy, aka non-masculine energy. But to make it kind of long story short, the number one way you know you're simping within the context of men when it comes to dealing with women is if you can give a woman instructions and she actually carries out those instructions and you're not demeaning her, you're not barking orders, you just say things in a way that she's going to absorb it and actually process it and actually want to go implement whatever you ask her to do. If you don't have the ability to do that in the proper time, then you are most absolutely a simp, sir. And I believe all of us have experienced that as a man. So unless you have a situation like myself where you have a couple women that's on your team and they all know about each other and they all contribute to the progress of your process, understand me? Unless that's your absolute truth, make no mistake, sir, you are a simp. So yeah, I would advise anybody watching this live right now, if you're a man, go ahead and consider yourself a simp, just for the sake of it. Don't stop trying to be so upset about the stigma of the word itself. Once you realize that you are not conducting yourself the way you should be, then you can start making adjustments to fix it. And the things you gotta do are really minor. Number one. Truth be told, most men have the ability to go out there and make money and put themselves in a position of abundance, so to speak, or at least within the realm of the women you're going to date. Just for a number's sake, I'd say, if you're a man and you from my hometown, or if you live in the DFW area, I'd say if you can get to the point where you're making at least $75,000 a year, that's a good soft number, and that's not hard to achieve. All you got to do is get you a couple of certs, get you a little bit of get you some life skills, go to school, get a couple of certs. That's just pretty much what I did. And if you need help with that, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll most happily give you some advice to get you on the other end of that spectrum. Understanding? I need more men that are assets to society. I need less men who are a burden to society. I need more men that are capable of leading. And if they so choose, they can have one person and have one family and live happily ever after if that's what they so choose. The lollipop. Yep. The protege, understand me? She chimed in on the simps, the sucker in most positions, understand me? You won't want to be that guy. I know if it feels, we'll get into why it feels good. And we'll get into why men do it more often than not. But you don't want to be the sucker in most positions, aka the simp. Understand me? It just ain't what you want to do, understand me? It's just not a good look. All right, moving on. So we touched on what is simping. We touched on what is a simp, understand me? Now we about to dive in on, does simping actually work? Understand me? All right, does it work? Well, you got to really assess, and this is the slippery slope of simping right here, right? Because at face value, most men, myself included, once upon a time, we assume that the proper dynamic and the proper way to date women, past, present, and future, and in 2022, and to infinity and beyond, understand me? We feel like it is our obligation as a man to get ourselves in a great position financially, spiritually, whatever you may deem a good situation. We feel it is our priority to get ourselves in a good spot just for the sole purpose of taking care of a woman. Now, that's what men have been conditioned to do. And there was a point in time where it actually was somewhat effective. Because 20, 30 years ago, back in our granny day, women didn't have the means to go out and work and make their own money. So even if you were doing simp type activities back in the day, you wouldn't necessarily lose your whole entire family, right? But nowadays, women are just as capable, if not more capable, of as men when it comes to actually making financial substance to take care of themselves and or whatever family endeavors they may endure. Understand me? So the slippery slope of that is that men nowadays, let me make sure you understand this quite wholeheartedly. You must bring more than just money to try to secure a family. Actually, you are more likely to get the family, sustain the family, if you have the one thing that you need to have as your number one priority rather than the money. And that is, once again, understanding masculinity. Masculinity is the inherent glue that holds all romantic relationships together. This is why you see women who you wouldn't think would be dealing with a guy who's quote unquote no good, aka the Futures and the Pookies and the Ray Rays, understand me? The reason why women deal with men like that, because those men within the black community, at least, and for the white community, those are the Chads and the guys with the strong jawlines, and they may be quote unquote the bad boys, so to speak. The reason why women gravitate to these type of men is because they are inherently perceived to be masculine. There's a reason why I picked the name. I picked it as an acronym for the word PIMP. Presidential, intellectual masculinity perceived, understand? Because if the woman doesn't perceive all this pimping, it's real deal Holyfield, it don't matter if it's real or not. She go walk off, and only woman that's go really settle down with it and line up with it and want to ride to the promised land with it is a woman who perceives it as masculine. And that's on you as a man to make sure that the woman that you're dealing with perceives you as that. You may not be a good fit for every woman. And it's not for you to be chasing the woman to try to convince her that you are the right fit for her. It's for you, your priority is to go be the best man you can be. And the byproduct of being the best man you can be is you more than likely going to get access to a plethora of women, not just one or two. All right, so just to wrap things up, does simping work? From my perspective nowadays, I would say it works if you want the lifestyle of being a partner with a woman, if you want the lifestyle of being in a position of weakness with a woman, if you want the lifestyle of being in a position where you may be out and about with your woman and she's showing signals that she likes everybody but you, if you want to be in a position where you may run the risk of getting divorced, if you want to be in a position where you run the risk of your wife cheating on you, You run the risk of your wife taking half of your money, not respecting you. Pretty much all the bad things we hear about in marriages. Then simping does work. Simping does work if that's what you want. Going trans. Well, there's so many simps going trans these days. I'm not really sure. You got to get more context to that one, man. I don't refer to, that's a whole nother can of worms. We might dive into that one later on. I might touch on it towards the end, like bonus round type material. But that, to me, the realm of the quote unquote alphabet community, number one, that's not the same situation as a man not being masculine. That person really does feel that they are that. Why they feel they are that is a whole nother can of worms that I'm not going to dive into. I don't understand those dynamics, but I would say it like this. Most people are cowards, and nobody's going to choose the path of most resistance purposely unless they really do feel it's worth the struggle and go on that route for as the T part of the LBGTQT community. I apologize if I said the acronym wrong. But the go on the T route is the path of most resistance. So I want to say put that into the category of simple understanding. The whole what is a woman thing. Boys becoming girls. Potentially, yeah. But like I said, I think that person really does feel that that's what they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't go through all that effort. I don't think it's just it's not just attention seeking. I don't think it. We have to get over these acronyms and these words that are kind of stigmatized. Attention seeking, that is not necessarily a bad thing. This is me making this podcast potentially is attention seeking. I'm trying to bring attention to a cause. People have to start speaking up for things you believe in. Taking the quote unquote humble route is not effective anymore. You need to be loud and thunderous about whatever you believe in. Maybe those T people are way more loud and thunderous than the people who aren't T people are about whatever they is, whatever agenda they're trying to push. Maybe we should be more aggressive with our stance on things and stop being so passive. And maybe if we were more aggressive with our stance on things, maybe we wouldn't get to the point to where we have all these confusing debates and confusing topics about something that should be relatively simple. But I digress. So long story short, if you want a life of misery, from my perspective, being in a relationship with a woman who doesn't respect me, being in a relationship with a woman who doesn't value me and feel like I'm the best thing smoking, that is not a situation that works for me. So from my opinion, simping does not work. Absolutely not. Understand me? Next topic. If y'all want to jump on the call, understand me, link is at the top. This is the one that's really the kicker that why men choose to do it. All right. The women, I was about to say does, but it's actually do. Do women like simps? Women like what simps can do for them. If you want to be a servant to a woman, then yes, women like simps. Got another comment. Do you think that it's because of how people date in 22? How do you reach the guy who is a bona fide? Okay, number one. So Nico said, do you think it's because of how people date in 22 that more men simp? All right, let me illustrate. Let me get some context to the question. So, all right, man, whoever watches this, if you chime into this live later on or you circle back on the back end, whatever you do, man, y'all actually need to like take notes on this information, because let's just be real here. Our fathers didn't know any better. So the fact that our fathers didn't know any better made it where we don't know any better. Then it's just the slippery slope of simping continues, right? There's nobody really at fault. Nobody really didn't. People just didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't find out about this stuff until like maybe 4 years ago. And then I started implementing it, and I started getting way better results to the point to where I literally have no arguments with women. There's nothing but magical moments with me and women now. There's nothing but love. And the women who can't handle this situation, I bid them farewell. And even there is no love lost. I may chastise them a little bit, but there's no knockdown, drag out arguments or nothing like that. Right? It's a situation where the energies won't line up. Right? So, to address Nico's question, how people date. So, people have been dating wrong for a long time, right? So, the book I read, they really gave me a lot of context on the proper dynamics of a date. Right. So, for instance, if you want to chime in and give me more context on different dating scenarios, then please do. Or go ahead, come on the show. We can have a better conversation rather than me reading chat comments. But whatever the case, the proper dynamic of, and I'll lay out the scenario, right? I guess we consider this like the, I won't say cold approach. So a cold approach is the typical situation where like a woman's out and about. She may be, for instance, pumping her gas or whatnot. Right? A guy sees her, he thinks she's attractive, and he wants to go talk to her and say, "Hey, little mama, hey, baby, what's your name?" type stuff. Right? Number one, no man should be doing that. You put yourself in a bad position, and that's sipping from the jump. No man should be walking up to women who are busy pumping their gas, trying to go shoot their shot. That you are putting yourself in a bad spot. Right. Nobody should be doing that. It's okay, Nico. You'll have them next time. There'll be a lot of opportunities. This ain't on live. We'll probably go back to the regular show next week, and we'll start doing live. So I'll probably drop these on Monday or something like that. It's probably what I do. But we'll see. But it's a good vibe right now. Actually, I'm actually liking this. This is good content. A little more engaged, a little more relaxed. We can just chill out, grab us a brewski or two, and have these talks. Understand me? Go get you a brew or something. Sit back and relax. Understand me? Give you this game. Understand me? Grab a Snickers. We're going to be here for a while. So, proper dating. Like we already said, you shouldn't be running up on women trying to shoot your shot. Understand me, man? That is saying what it is. So, the proper situation is, number one, a woman should give you some kind of signal that she's interested in you before you go talking to her. And women, this is some game for you. If you see a guy you may be interested in, stop walking around with your stone face. Because the only men that are going to come walk and talk to you with your stone face on are simps. Those are only men who are worth laying on that sword and come up and talking to you while you're looking very unengaging and very uninviting. So if you're getting approached by guys while you got your mean mug on and while you're pumping your gas and while you're busy with your homegirls or whatever else, rest assured that he is a simp. It's going to fail like all your other relationships failed. Most of the people who are in my age bracket who are approaching are past 40 now. You haven't figured out yet, young lady, because you've been doing it wrong the whole time, and that's okay. That's why I created the platform, so hopefully you learn. So the proper dynamic is, number one, she shows you some kind of symbol or some kind of something. She'll make sure she's in your vicinity, or she'll give you eye contact, or she'll smile. She'll do something. And if she isn't doing anything, men, it's either one or two reasons. Either she's just not interested, or she's too masculine to show a feminine demeanor towards you. So either one of those scenarios are situations where you don't need to be approaching her. Let her go about her way. That's what you need to do. Don't be trying to walk up on women who don't show you signs that they're interested in you. That's how you get Me Too. That's how you get a rape charge. That's how you get yourself in trouble. Every woman that's interested in you will give you a sign. And if she's too tough to give you a sign, she's not for you anyway, sir. It's an easy fix. That's all you gotta do. So once you get your confirmation that she's actually interested, then you go ahead and say the best pickup line you can use, man, is hello, my name is this. How you doing today? Would you like to go out sometime? You ain't got to get all deep down into the things. If she like you already, she's going to say yes. Only reason women are going to be like, I don't know, is when they don't like you. And you shouldn't be trying to mess with women who don't like you. Now, I full wholeheartedly understand that people got to get to know each other. But first impressions last a long time. There is a man out there that women would not say no to. Every woman has some kind of celebrity crush or whatnot, and you need to be perceived by her as close enough to a celebrity crush to where she's not telling you no to a question like, "Do you want to go out?" All right, so she says yes. Y'all exchange numbers, right? You are not supposed to call her, sir. You are supposed to allow her to call you. Or you can try to set the date up right there in the conversation. And then you say, "Hey, whenever you're free, ma'am, reach out and we'll schedule something." Right? Then, ladies, there's some game for y'all. If a man gives you this opportunity to not plan the date, but to give him the time frame of when you're free, then you need to take the opportunity. Otherwise, you're going to be perceived as masculine. If you say you want to go out, he asks you when you're free, then you need to follow up as quick if you're interested. And if you're not interested, don't give him your number. Just keep it moving. Stop wasting time. Stop playing games. But if you're interested in this guy, he reaches out and says, "Hey, when are you free?" Then give him a good time, a good solid time that you know for sure that you got all your situations and the ducks in a row. You got your babysitter stuff lined out. You took off work. You cleared your schedule. You're good to go. You guaranteed where this not gonna be a date you have to cancel. Then and only then do you follow up. And if you can't give him a time, you say, "Hey, let me look at my schedule. Let me see what I got. Let me clear some time because I don't want to cancel nothing like that." So once you have that clear cut time, everything's lined up, then you tell him, "Hey, I'm free these times." Now it is on him from a masculine perspective to plan the date. He can't plan a date up until you give him the information of when you're free. If he reaches out and says, "Oh, he's heating you up like, 'Hey, when can I see you?' type thing," that is not a masculine position. You're forcing him to be back into his feminine position by not doing your part as far as giving him a good time to reach out to you to plan the date. These are mistakes men and women make all the time, and you're doing yourself a disservice. You're messing up the polarity of your relationship. By the way, the term for this, if you want to Google it and look it up, it's called sexual polarity. You can look it up. You can go on Google and Google those words, and you can find the quiz. Take the quiz and line it up with how many failed relationships you had, and you'll be surprised on you're probably not in the right energy you need to be in. It goes for men and women. I had one of my clients take the test the other day. He had a girl literally living with him and his mom, and she wasn't texting him back or whatever. Talking about they broke up because she's acting weird. Like, sir, how do you get yourself in a scenario where a girl living with you and your mother and she can't text you back? And he took the test and he was 40% feminine, 60% masculine. So the numbers don't lie. It kind of lines up on the energy is going to attract what is attracted. It's not rocket science here. God was smart when he made humans. He, she, whatever. All right, so don't try to reinvent the wheel. So I deep dove into proper dating dynamics. We got kind of off track on our main synopsis here. And Angela, she's protege, left me in a comment. Women these days ain't trying to hear all that. They want to know how much money you got and what you can do for them immediately. How do we help this situation? That's a good question. So the only woman that's going to be thinking like that is a woman who's in her masculine frame. So the thing is, I think we have to start when the men fix themselves, because women like that shouldn't be entitled to a date at all. No woman that acts like that should even be allowed to date. She should be treated like garbage. Unfortunately, men are so sex crazed nowadays, and everybody's stuck on the superficial things of life when it comes to how women look and just their physical appearance. Most men aren't even worried about what value she provides. They worry about really putting themselves in a simp trick situation, and they're okay with that. Why not? What? Like I say, if you want to click the link, if you want to have a more in-depth conversation, but it's difficult to kind of respond to everything without context. Maybe just send text. But as I said, my piece on it, as far as the situation on why women are like that, and it basically just comes down to men are so sex crazed and even men who have a pretty good substance. So every man with money ain't masculine. Let's just get that out the way. A masculine man is not going to deal with us like that. So the only men you're referring to are feminine, aka simp men. I already illustrated at the beginning of the video that most men are simps. It's considered masculine to provide for a woman who's worthy of being provided for. You don't just do that off the top. She has to prove herself worthy of provision. She has to work for and earn that. That's not free. So when it says, do women like simps? Yeah, that's exactly the situation. A woman likes what a simp can do for her. And it may make her excited in the moment. Who don't want to get food out? Who don't want a free vacation? Who doesn't like free stuff? But me personally, I had women try to buy me free stuff. And these are quote unquote good women that most men was simp over. I told some women to take some stuff back because I knew what came with that. People have to have a little bit of integrity, right? Just you can't buy love. So how does he know? How does she know he is worth the effort? She has to learn how to perceive what masculinity is. If she can't perceive, and you can't perceive what a masculine man is if you busy being masculine yourself. Because all you're going to do is push away all masculine men while you being masculine yourself. That's just what it's going to do. You're never going to even get to. Most women nowadays are so masculine, and most men nowadays, are so feminine that neither one of them even get an opportunity to see what it is they need to see to actually attract the kind of person they need to attract, to even do what they need to do, to even get to the point of where we're talking about marriage and children and family. Just look around. Look at your Facebook timeline. All these beautiful women. They can cook. They can clean. They look good. They take selfies all day. They got nice bodies, but still single. Why? Because they are absolutely oblivious to what it actually takes to attract the man they really want. So they can attract a bunch of men they don't really care for, but they can't attract the man they really want. So, and they don't want to settle either because they know that they're a relatively attractive woman, and they know they can provide some value for us. They can cook and they can clean, and they get a lot of likes on their selfies on social media. And hey, that's fine and well, but ma'am, rest assured, you will never get what you want. Conduct yourself that way. That's just how it works. But you get a false sense of gratification because social media is telling you you're correct. So there are pieces of literature that you need to read. Number one, read your Bible, because all this stuff is in the Bible if you know how to perceive it properly. Number one, get you some scriptural aids that assist you. I have a regular Bible and I have a men's aid Bible as well. So there's a book for men that I recommend every man needs to read and master this book. This book is called 3% Man. It pretty much illustrates everything you need to know about the dynamic between masculine and feminine energy. And I recommend women need to read this book as well. And he involves God in his speakings with everybody who actually made some kind of significant progress with these sexual polarity talks has chimed back in and has resonated with those certain talking points, and all this stuff is in the Bible. I'm not going to be able to name the scriptures for you. We can Google it. The internet's free for everybody. We can go find these scriptures. I can find the scriptures for y'all if y'all want, but I guarantee you there's a scripture to illustrate all of this. It's not that hard to figure out. And what I've learned through my path of this is not about male, female. It's about masculine and feminine. People who are of the alphabet community have been around since the beginning of the time. They are not that way because somebody touched them or because they were molested or whatever. That's just how they are. Why they are like that, I don't know. I don't really care. I just know that these people are not choosing this. It's just what it is. There's no way a man can be that feminine and that's, somebody messed with him. That's what turned them. No, sir. That's just what it is. I know people that I seen in elementary that I knew, okay, they were a little off, and they ended up being a part of that community. And then I seen a nephew that was at 3 years old that was a parent. That's how he's going to be, and sure enough, that's what he is. This is not a choice. It's just that's how their brain operates. That's what they're attracted to. The energy is the energy. What you have to do as a human being is you need to assess what it takes to get you where you want to go, process the fact that you don't have what you want, and learn what you need to learn to get where you want to go. And if your goal is to get in a relationship, you don't pray for the husband. You pray and you work on getting yourself husband ready, and then the husband magically finds you. My situation with two beautiful women by my side, they're not here right now. They're busy working or whatever, arrested. But you see them and y'all know, are aware of them. But that situation is not something I asked for. That situation was a byproduct of me becoming way more in tune with my masculinity. It was just something that happened. It was not something that I just like, oh, this is something I want. This is something that just came to me as a byproduct. Simple as that. Another question. What are y'all thoughts on men showing emotions, like triggering the situations? I'm not, my stance, because it depends on the situation. I can find myself getting passionate about things as well. But as you said one time, Protege, in the video, there's a difference between a scream and a roar, So there's a time and a place to be aggressive and be escalated. Hella air pop up. But what I am referring to is that I lost track with that girl. So go ahead to question. So all right, being emotional inherently isn't bad, so to speak. But being emotional in a feminine manner is bad. So let me illustrate that. Men are very emotional when they play the sport of football and when they go to war. Adrenaline is a tool to help you stay alive. There's a difference between being brave and having adrenaline and accomplishing a task to complete whatever it is you need to do and actually being afraid. Those are two totally different things. One is masculine and one is feminine. One is breathed through practice and persistence and efficiency and muscle memory, and one's bred for being unprepared. So most men, when they find themselves getting emotional and triggered, because they are woefully prepared for whatever scenario that caused that trigger. Okay, if they get themselves into an argument about something, whatever it may be, most of the time it usually boils down to them being inadequate at handling or taking care of some random scenario. And whenever they aren't capable of handling or engaging or accomplishing whatever that said task may be, whatever it is, and whenever the woman confronts them about that, he is going to immediately resort to being in a feminine stance because he wasn't prepared to solve the problem, if that makes sense. So a lot of this comes down to repetition and practice and preparation. That's the glue, or that's the catalyst that keeps men out of these being emotional type scenarios. So between taking sideways steps, like you want to give it away. Yep. Yeah. So no more commuting. Yeah, he is correct. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know the username, but taking sideways selfies, dressing like you're going to give it away, just attracts simp men. That is a true statement. But this is the conundrum behind that. This is what I came to realize. There's such a discrepancy of masculine non-simp man that women will take attention anywhere they can get it. Feminine individuals, most heterosexual women, attention is their currency. They thrive on it. They may say they're not doing stuff for attention, but what other reason are they taking the same sideways selfie three to five times a week? We all know the usual suspects, and they get 100 likes on them every time. They are, I'm going to say addicted. Well, I would say addicted. Like it's literally like it's like a it's like a dopamine release or something. It's like it makes you feel good about yourself whenever people give you validation or give you accolades. So like, oh, you're so pretty, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, it's going to put you in a position where you never get what you want conducting yourself that way. I don't know any woman that takes sideways selfies all the time that actually has a man she wants. None. She may eventually get a guy and settle for a guy that may come in and take care of her and take care of kids and whatnot, but they ain't the dude she wants. And that's unfortunate. My goal here in the whole synopsis of this whole platform is to help people get what they actually want. And you can't get it being a masculine woman that takes sideways selfies and can cook. You're not going to get nothing but simps. If you're a single mother, the reason why you're a single mother is because the guy you had a child with is a simp. Women do not divorce masculine good men. And the only way you can find yourself in a position where you're dating a man who isn't a masculine good man because you were too masculine yourself to actually process and understand what you need to do with your femininity to actually attract the man you want. It's as simple as that. You have to take ownership of that and improve it and fix it. The same way men have to take ownership of the fact that you were way too feminine with dealing with your woman or wife. That's why she divorced you. See, the thing is, women actually, it's like this thing is built into us. God gave us this insight it's a protection mechanism. Women are inherently will become quote unquote bored with men who don't conduct themselves in a masculine manner most of the time. And she won't even know why she don't like the man can be doing everything like as far as you check the box. He could be taking care of the family, good with the kids. Y'all have a lovely home, lovely house, lovely life. He make good money, all that stuff. He's handsome. But if he doesn't maintain masculine frame most of the time, you are going to become sick of him. You're gonna be disgusted with this man. And that's how it's supposed to be. Like, women actually it's a very bad situation when women find themselves having like emotional turmoil because they don't know why they're no longer attracted to their husband that actually takes care of him and is good father. The reason why, because he probably never did show any amount of masculinity. He was just a good guy. In 2022, the truth be told, being a good guy was never enough. Adam was a good guy, but he failed and it caused the damnation of the rest of humanity. The goal is to live happily ever after and get everything you want, not to be mediocre and be okay and continue to falter and continue to miss your mark when it comes to things you need to do to get where you want to go in life, wherever that may be. Got some more comments. That's the problem. I think y'all have your own conversation. That's the problem. I think instead of competing against others, they compete against other people to be better rather than put themselves just to be successful. That's probably the biggest pressure. Yeah, I mean, end of the day, if you're competing against someone else trying to achieve this task of abundance in life, you compete against the wrong person. The only person you should be competing with is your old self. You should be better than you for the sake of you. Be the best person you can be, top to bottom. I guarantee you to work out. Whatever it is you want will come to you. All right. So Cherie said 81% of women are divorced. So does that mean men are not holding frame or women just selfish? I would lean more towards men are just not holding frame. And I don't mean for any women watching the show to take this the wrong way, but women are naturally submissive and women are naturally natural followers. They are not the ones who are going to lead the way when it comes to spearheading what society is going to do. And that's not a good thing to say nowadays, but that's the truth. So my stance on this, Cherie, is that men were never that masculine to begin with. The only thing that's happened in the last 20 years is that women make more money and they can afford to, instead of just cheating on that man with the milkman or the cable man or the mailman or the pool man or the gardener. You hear all the stories about the old school stuff. Instead of just cheating on with that guy, they're just leaving because they're not happy. Women only cheat on men because they're not happy with that man. And the reason why they're not happy with that man because that man isn't giving her enough masculinity to keep her happy. Right? No more community said, my wife is too feminine. She could hardly look after herself. She cares more about drinking and drugs than being a decent parent. She was the simp and left because she refused. That's well, sir. Unfortunately, that's not feminine. Nothing. I mean, what you perceive as femininity is not femininity, sir. Femininity has nothing to do with drinking and being whatever you said. There's none of that's feminine. Femininity is tied to nurturing. It's tied to relationships, affection. They have a need to want to be around people. Um, it's about cultivating and stuff. Femininity has nothing to do with what you just named. And, you know, I was trying to see where you was going with that, but that's you didn't have a feminine wife. You had a person who with life problems. That's not feminine. So to get back to the story, do women like simps? Women like what simps can do for them in that moment. For as they like how they make them feel. For as they give them a false sense of gratification in those small pockets of instance, if that makes sense. That's why relationships eventually fail when it comes to dealing with women and dealing with men. When it comes to they had a marriage that didn't last the whole way because he was separate from the front. She thought she liked him because the guy might be drop dead gorgeous now. There's plenty of men who work out every day who are still simps. There's some bona fide gangsters out here who are still simps. Every rapper in the industry right now, I would say all of them are simps. Even somebody like Future. Like Future still conducts himself like, even though he up here, you know, doing all what he does, and he can still get selected women. He still conducts himself like a simp because there's no responsibility. There's nothing masculine about having kids everywhere and you're not taking care of them. They don't live with you. That's not masculine. But that's just my take on it. Let's go to the next topic. So my stance on the women like simps. No, they like what they can do for them. They don't like it. Right. But we kind of already addressed this already. You know, we kind of ran over into this. Why do women deal with simps? Just to. I guess he get like a thumbs up something. Why do you deal with him? Because what he can do for her. And I ain't know we was gonna run into that. My bad, y'all. But all these topics kind of congruent. But I think I already covered this. We ain't gonna stick on this one too long. But some ladies down there, right? Some of the ladies chime in, right? Y'all all dated a simp. Why did y'all put in the comment section? Why did y'all deal with the simp men y'all dealing with? You know the guys. Tell me why did you deal with the simp guys you dealt with? I'll wait for y'all to tell me why. I want to know. Why did you deal with the simps? At least a couple comments so I can proceed. I guess we'll circle back around. I ain't gonna hold the show up for y'all comment. Asking y'all to give me some context here. Why did y'all deal with the simps? Y'all don't want to tell me? All right, next topic. Why do men think simping is good? Because, as I said, the energy always balances itself. So women have become so masculine that men have become accustomed to being in a non-leadership role, aka simp position. So men have been conditioned to think that the path to a happily ever after family is to make enough money to where you can go half on stuff with a woman, not necessarily be the leader. Also, the protege said the reason why she dealt with a simp guy is because she used the concept that he had potential. Well, ma'am, that's probably the most foolish thing you could ever do. You don't need to be dealing with guys with potential. And unless you are fully capable, and I'll say this, that's a learning lesson for you. It's a learning lesson for all women. It's not about the potential. It's about the masculinity. If his potential is from a masculine perspective, then by all means, line up with that man and go on down through there. Okay, Pro J chiming in. Got the Pro J coming on. So if it's from a masculine perspective, by all means, he can come on in, he can come on through, and he can make it do what it do. And if you want to come on, I need you to turn your camera on. Don't be on here. I don't want to be talking to
at work.
Avatar.
I'm at work.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Speak your piece, man.
You keep skipping over my comments, man. You gotta keep up. You keep skipping over my comments, man. You gotta keep up.
Hold on. Got two other things up.
Yeah, it's echoing.
Yeah, I know. Got two other things up. All right, we should be good now. All right, so wait, just chime in. We live and direct, Pro J. Tell them what you're gonna say. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
The first comment that I was talking about was the one where I said that I see men that are triggered by more men than, I see a lot of men being triggered by other men, and that's where you commented to Nico comment. You thought she was having a separate conversation. No, I was talking to you, but she responded.
We triggered by, what do you mean triggered by other men?
Like weird scenarios where it could be more than one guy and a lady approaches and guys get all tough or get weird because a woman became a part of the environment or conversation. They get triggered by that and start being all, I don't know.
That's simple behavior too. That's extreme simple. That's like you can't stand on your own 2 feet and just be the man you are without trying to show some kind of bravado for no apparent reason other than trying to impress a woman. But it's
hard for me to tell if you're trying to impress me or the other dude.
All right. I mean, that's like I said, we have to really hammer home the fact that most men are simps. That's just what it is. Now, whether they're aware of it or not is a different story. But most men they fall into the simp category. 97%. That's a lot of them. That's pretty much everybody is a simp, unless they conduct themselves like me. And you ain't got to go all the way. You ain't got to have 2 girlfriends, but you got to be in my if you're not in my perspective and position, you are a simp.
Yeah, and then my next question was, you asked the question of, what was the question about? Why women pick simps or something? The question you asked me, you said for us to comment, but you didn't really give us time to comment.
Say again. Why do women like simps, or why do women deal with simps?
Oh, okay. Oh no, you asked why did we choose the simp that we dealt with?
Yeah.
And my response to that was I used the concept that he had potential.
Yeah, and I responded to that.
What was your response? I didn't hear no response. I chimed in right after that.
Okay. Basically, potential is probably the worst thing you can even think about dealing with when it comes to a guy. Like, potential is not going to really help you out any. Potential is it's like a pipe dream. Now, I'm not saying don't get with a guy who's on the way up, but if he's not doing it from a masculine perspective, it ain't about the potential. It's about his masculine frame. A man can be masculine and not have a dime to his name, because he may have lost it all in a bad business deal or something. Who knows? But you can, if you are in your feminine essence, you can tell a man who's masculine, and a man who's masculine is not going to stay down forever. A man who's masculine will eventually figure out how to no longer be the guy with potential. He's the guy who is the breeder of prosperity. He's no longer the guy with potential. He's the guy who has whatever he wants.
Right.
He don't stay the guy with potential. He becomes the guy who has it, not the guy who with the potential of getting it. He actually got it.
Right. So I always ask you this question on the couch, like, how do we? All the information is good, but it takes like a person who actually has crossed point A of saying, "Look, I got a problem."
Right, that's the first step. Yeah, most people
You know
never.
what I'm saying?
Most people never pick the problem people have. Right, most people never make it to that point because they still get so much gratification from social media. That's the blocker for most people. And in our social circle, these are all people from Tyler, Texas. So they are willing to settle for accolades and praise for a bunch of individuals from regular ass Tyler, Texas. They will accept that over really getting themselves in a better position to live a life of abundance. They will accept the accolades and the praise from Tyler, Texas, because it makes them feel better. When maybe for me, I've never really been the guy to get the accolades and praise of Tyler, Texas. Maybe that's been my gift. Maybe that's been my blessing in disguise. I never really sought that or had that attention. I get more attention now than I ever had. But there's a point in time where I didn't really care about none of that. But there's some people who have been getting attention from people since high school.
I know, but where I come from with that, with when I asked that question, I prompted that question several times for you. But the reality of it is like you say all the time, Simping didn't just start. It didn't start with Facebook or MySpace. Simping been around since the ages, but way before time. So what was the accolades? What was making men feel like that, or women feel like they was this or that before social media was even a thing? But the problem has persisted way beyond and well before social media came about. So getting validation from social media now, yeah, that's a validating point now, but that ain't the root of the problem. What is the real root of the problem here?
The root of the problem is people don't understand sexual polarity at all. See, the thing is that we got by earlier. See, women just couldn't afford to work back then. That's the only glue that's holding families together back in the day was women couldn't afford to leave. It's never been right. It's always been messed up. It's been messed up since Adam and Eve, and we still haven't got it right yet. Not in the grand scheme. On the massive scale, we have it.
Right, but and then not trying to be funny or put you all out there in the ocean, all and the only fish swimming, but you're one of very few at your age and in our social circle or family or probably in the whole motherfucking northern region or southern region of America who is still childless at 40 and successful. Like you're like a very small percentage of the mankind, black mankind anyway. And so where we're sitting at right now is we're in a social status that like the odds are forever against us in so many ways. There's not enough men, to equate to what masculinity really needs right now. So how do we really get to how do we fix this? Because there's so many men who sit up and debate and argue the process with you, even though your success and your masculinity is evident, but they look at it as, shit that's argumentative or up for debate. And, I don't necessarily understand it all. I'm not a man. I don't think I'm supposed to, but it taught me how to recognize it. I'd rather have a genuine, honest, hardworking, man that's successful and driven than have a lying dude selling me a whole bunch of damn dreams. So it's like, that's where we at in society right now. So how do we break that barrier? Like, how do we come out of this, man? Like, this is a disease. It's like worse than AIDS around here.
Well, that's what we make the panel. We're doing what we need to do right now. We got to spread the word, and this has to become big enough to where they can't shut it down. That's why we approach it the way we approach it. That's why we got the scripture behind it. That's what we try not to have a bunch of slander and cussing and stuff on our show. And two, more panels and more opportunities like this are spread across and become status quo, nothing's going to change. But this is a spark of the fire here. We're
Right.
doing
I
the
get
work
that.
right now to change it.
This is just a small pitch, but it's like, how do you actually get people to grab on and digest and really feel it? Like, it took really hard life struggles for me to really digest it. You were experiencing it at the same time that I was changing and evolving to understand it. So it was kind of like a growth process for the both of us. But I no longer subscribe to masculine energy as a woman, and you yourself no longer, subscribe to simping as a man. And it's cool, we get it, but how do we make the rest of the universe feel how we feel when they can't even equate their situations to how we got here?
They have to come to terms with their reality and assess the situation and really understand that what they have is not what they really want. I was in when I made full circle and came to the conclusion I need to change something. I was in a successful position. I was already making good money, and I've been living here for a while now. So I was in the good spot. My brain at the time was just wired up where I refused to lose in anything. I refuse to take an L on something I feel like I shouldn't take L's on anymore.
Right.
That's literally what happened. So we have been conditioned to be coddled and be coached and tell ourselves everything's going to be okay when everything isn't okay. If you are a man and you're making good money and you have issues with women, you're not doing okay. You're doing something wrong. If you're a woman and you make good money and you're still single and you're relatively attractive, you're doing something absolutely positively wrong. There's no way a single woman who can cook and clean, who got a body is shaped like a Coke bottle, is still single out here. Other than she has no clue how to be feminine. The thing is that for people who don't understand it, it seems complicated. But from my perspective, this is like the most simple thing I ever really processed in the history of my life, for really understanding how energy works. This is really extremely simple. It's as simple as 2 + 2. But I'm gonna let you go because you over there working and blowing stuff.
All right, man.
All right. Hope everybody could get some perspective from that. We're gonna continue on our next topic. Why do men think simping is good? Because society tells them so. And if anybody else wants to join the chat, like I said, scroll back up to the top. You can hit the link. I'll bring you on. We can have a conversation. Everybody's welcome. Next topic. What are the benefits of simping? The benefits of simping are the perceived benefits of simping is you get access to sex. You may even get a family. And society will treat you like you're the good guy. Society will treat you as if you're the one who's actually what women want. Just to come to find out that, you're the guy who gets cheated on. You're not necessarily the guy that women want. You're the guy who gets cheated on. So, those are the benefits I really see. If y'all got some benefits, y'all think there's some good parts to it, let me know in the comments. But only benefits that I see to simping really is the fact that you will get access to some women that will give you some transactional sex, meaning that every time she has sex with you is because you did something for her. Which, once again, it's not necessarily bad. That's just the reality of the scenario. If every time you have sex with a woman, is she only doing it because you did something for her? I don't think that's a relatively good scenario to be in, but that's just me. Next topic. What is the punishment for simping? So this is the big one here, y'all. Understand me? The punishment is you losing everything, anything you can perceive of having, up to and including your life. Literally. You can literally lose your life from simping, straight up. No cap. Understand me? I've seen it happen a multitude of times. I can tell y'all a couple stories about some men. Some I know, not personally, that I know of, but they lost their lives literally due to simping. Cause of death. Cause of death, simping. So let me tell these stories. All right. One scenario. Man, he's actually has a relatively good life, doing well for himself, but he chose to kill himself and kill his girlfriend or wife or whatever at the time. Murder suicide. Cause of death, simping. Another man, he's married to a woman who is obviously not attracted to him in that way. Hip Hop Alliance chimed in. Yep, understand. We get the likes up. Understand. So another guy who obviously is dealing with a woman who ain't the woman he wants, that she wants, right? Gets himself in a scenario where he is on a restraining order with his wife that he's only been married to a month. She has him on a restraining order and is suing him, and he finds a way to get himself murdered by some people he don't know. Cause of death, simping. Another guy, young fella, parents weren't doing the best job of, giving him some masculine frame, but they would spoil him. He just got a brand new car. He's at the movies, having a good time with a girl he just met not too long ago in his brand new car. He gets himself into some kind of altercation, some kind of verbal altercation with a guy that he may or may not know. And that guy decides to shoot him. Another situation. 3 deaths by simping. This all happened a couple months ago within the span of 30 days. Simping will cost you everything up into and including your life. It's literally the root of all of it. You got another person want to chime in. All right, Nico, tell me what you got to say.
What up, Survivor the Simp? Y'all got a good conversation going tonight. First off, I want to salute to the show. It looks great. Everything looks great. I like the conversation, what everybody's been saying. I want to give context to what I was saying earlier, and I know you're going topic by topic, but to keep it in perspective, I think to what all you're saying tonight, I think that it's just men and women kind of not knowing how to communicate to each other what they want or what they desire or how they feel. I feel like it's an emotional thing instead of looking at it on an emotional, a financial front, a stable front. Nobody wants longevity anymore so it's like you are going to see more simps. You are going to see more women that's looking for the man that can just cater to them in an hour as opposed to longevity.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, and the thing is, everything in society is pushing that narrative that it's all about what a man can do for the woman rather than the proper dynamic of the man and the woman coming together for the common goal, for the greater good, so to speak. And like I said, it's not about the man and the woman, it's about the masculine and the feminine, right? So even in the same sex couple, those same dynamics have to be there. Somebody has to be the masculine individual, somebody has to be the feminine individual most of the time. Whenever somebody isn't maintaining those energies, then that's when you have a little bit of chaos. That's just what's going to happen. It's inherent. That's just what it is. And from my assessment, and I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of cases, that's a scenario every single time. Every time the energy is off, then somebody's going to find themselves in a bad spot. That's just what it is. There's literally nothing we can do about it. That's just how God designed it. That's just what it is. And we can't even change that fact. That the masculinity is going to attract the femininity, and they're going to repel each other when you're both maintaining the same energy. That's just what it is.
So, do you think that and I'm just asking this not from my perspective, but just to play devil's advocate for the women? Do you think that a lot of these women are acting more masculine because it's more simple energy, and because they're happy? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, but it's always been there, right? But it's never been. It's I won't say worse, but the perception of it is worse now because women have the ability to work just as much as the men do. So a woman could have been irate and masculine behind closed doors, but you would have never known about it because she wasn't out in public like that.
Right.
So women being more masculine and men being more feminine is not something new. It's just the optics of it are way more apparent now. And women own a quote unquote freedom movement, and to me, there's nothing wrong with that because the thing is, once energy balances itself, things are going to go back the way it's supposed to go anyway. The energy is still balancing right now. It's just that nobody's maintaining the opposite polarized positions. Everybody's all over the place. Nobody's really in the position they need to be in. The masculine individual is not staying masculine. The feminine individual is not staying feminine. So that's where you got a bunch of crazy stuff all over the place. And it's just
so it kind of sounds like you're saying people ain't playing their roles.
You can say that, but there are some roles that could be perceived as a masculine role, yes. And there are some roles within a romantic relationship they can perceive as their feminine role, yes. Those are true statements. Now, whether or not that's the end all be all, that's subjective to those individuals in that particular relationship. But at the same time, some things it's just apparent there's nothing masculine about a man standing at the house taking care of the kids, washing dishes and stuff while the woman does. That's not masculine. That's just what it is. I mean, there's room for adjustment there, but generally speaking, that's just how it's gonna go.
Nah, because we generally get just in society, you get shocked when you hear a man is staying at home to take care of the kids but it's like it's so many roles and different. And when I say roles, I'm saying when you're talking about masculine and feminine, you don't really expect a man to be at home being a homemaker. When I'm at my job and I ask a question and I say, hey, what position are you in? I don't expect a man to say homemaker. So I get what you're saying on that. But I just wanted to chime in and salute to the survivor of the simp. Give my little input.
All right, then y'all be good out there.
All right, see you.
All right, so the project asked another question. She asked, so a woman should or shouldn't subscribe to independence since all men are simping? Well, protege, I'll tell you like this. I am not the only man that understands this information. It may seem like I'm the only one, but I'm not. There are other men that do understand this. But unfortunately, you won't get access to those other men by staying in a masculine, independent situation. Now, you can be independent enough to take care of yourself, to make sure that you're not starving and you're not dependent on someone to feed you. But as far as being independent or masculine enough to where you're actually causing the men that could not potentially be simps, to where you're pushing them away, is not in your best interest to conduct yourself as the quote-unquote strong, independent woman if you don't have the ability to turn it off when it needs to be turned off within the presence of that masculine man. I have no issue with women going out working and making good money, as long as she understands how to turn off when daddy come home. Understand me? We all good. That's really what it boils down to. Is women have to learn how to walk that thin line between being masculine, being feminine, and actually taking care of yourself. Those are all three different scenarios. And you have to be able to manage all of those. And it's tough. Life is not easy. That's a tough thing to do. So, how do you stop simping? This is a good one right here. How do you stop, right? So we've assessed the fact that you're a simp. So most men are simps. Let's just get that out of the way. If you think you're a simp, you probably are. If you don't think you're a simp, you probably are. So I'm probably talking to you. So how do you stop? Number one, you need to start getting more spiritually sound. That's number one. Number two, there's a book out there called 3% Man. Like, you'll hear me talk about this book very often. It's the one that's the easiest to digest. It's the one that I feel like is the easiest for men to kind of chime in with and actually kind of get what they want to get out of the literature. And if you want to actually have a family, this is the one that actually most likely will get you in a position where you actually have it, right? So You need to actually do some studying. You have to unlearn with everything you've learned your whole life, which got you in these simp situations. That's number one. Find yourself a mentor. Reach out to me. I will help you. If you got too much pride to reach out, if you think you're not in a simp situation, if you are recently divorced, you're a simp. If you're on child support, you're a simp. If you're not with your baby mama anymore, you're a simp. Or you had a simp situation. If any woman ever cheated on you, past, present, or future, simp. If any woman ever finessed you out some money, simp. If any woman ever did something you feel like was kind of dishonest towards you, simp. I think that I can keep going. But pretty much, if you ever had an issue out of a woman at all, and still having issues with women at all, you're a simp. I'll put it real easy for y'all. You need to be reaching out to someone to help you out in these simp situations. That's just what it is. You're a simp. Figure out how to fix it. You fix it by being more spiritually sound, being more focused on your grind. Get yourself in a position of power instead of a position of weakness when you're dealing with women. And just do the work to get yourself become a better asset to society. That's the real kicker is be more useful, be more resourceful. That alone will put you in a better spot. And once you become more resourceful, something should took in your brain to where, hey, I'm not here just to serve women. I'm not here just to be out here in a simp situation where women were my only purpose is just serving them. All right. Next topic. But that's how. Get that book 3%, man. And you should be okay. We're going to end it with this, right? This is the last topic for the night. What does God think about simping? So I'm going to actually dive into some scripture on this. Let me find a good scripture. All I'm going to do is Google, how does God feel about feminine men or men who worship women? Give me a moment. Okay. All right, here's a couple of verses. First Corinthians 6, 9 through 11. That's where we're reading from. This is what I find. It's just some First Corinthians 16. And basically it says, God does condemn men dressing or acting as women or being a part of the alphabet community. I'm not going to chime on that one, but that's what God says. Here's a couple of verses, right? Or do you not know that the unrighteous will inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived, neither fornications, nor idolaters or adulterers. Apologize for the reading. Or effeminate or alphabet. So that's referring to effeminate is basically a man who acted feminine. Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. So basically saying if you are out here simping, the kingdom of God is not going to be a part of your future program. Understand me? You can't get in, understand me? And then another excerpt, this just like I said, this is Google, right? Pretty much illustrating God wants men to lead, protect, and provide for their wives and family. First word, lead. Start with lead. Lead, then protect, then provide. Whether a man feels assertive or like a leader, God, whether you even feel like you're a leader of society, God still calls you to lead your family. Understand me? Whether a man feels assertive or like a leader, God calls him to lead, perfect, and provide for his home. So even if you're not a leader out in society, you still have to be a leader in your home. Hope that makes sense. 1 Corinthians 16, verse 13. Be on the alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Nehemiah 4:14. Fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your house. Defend your house. Ephesians 5:23. For the husband is the head of the wife, if Christ is also the head of the church. This is right out the Bible, y'all. All I did was Google it real quick. It goes on. So basically, y'all can research that y'all own. Y'all can Google it. Y'all can see what it says. All I did was Google, what does God feel about feminine men? And I found a couple of scriptures. But if you read your Bible, you'll see it. It's there plain as day, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff isn't that hard to figure out, men and women. There's nothing godlike about a feminine man, and there's nothing godlike about a masculine woman. Can you be in those energies to still be okay in the society that we live in? Absolutely. I start looking in, you know, people may perceive that you got the good life. But even with these so-called celebrities, they all still fall short and they all still suffer the same fate when it comes to dealing with these trials and tribulations. There's no way a man like Will Smith should be having women problems. And Meg Thee Stallion getting shot in the foot, supposedly. And Cardi B up here getting cheated on. And Halle Berry, the most beautiful woman in the world, can't keep a man. And, you know, the list goes on. But that's just to name a few. These people are rich beyond all recollection, and they can't maintain a relationship. So what does that say to you about how powerful this energy is? They have pretty much everything they want out of life, but a man or a woman they can keep for their own. That should let you know how powerful the energy is. The energy is more powerful than the money, obviously. So I'll close this out with my statement on the whole thing. That if you don't understand this energy thing, you don't think it's valuable, you don't think it's important to understand sexual polarity, which is the term, you don't want to read nothing, you don't want to learn nothing, then you're going to stay where you are. You're going to continue to have the results you've been getting. And it's okay. But don't complain to anybody or don't chime in about where the good men at or where the good women at. You ain't prepared for them, you're not qualified, ma'am, sir. And that's just what it is. Get yourself prepared. Put in the work. If you're confused about what work can you put in, reach out to somebody. I'm willing to help anybody, everybody that has enough humbleness, quote unquote, to understand and process that, hey, I'm not in a position I want to be in, and you actually reach out to somebody who actually could probably help you get where you want to go. You got to swallow that pride. Stop getting all your gratification from social media. You may need to take a break from social media for a while because it's clouding your vision on what you want, what God really has for you. God didn't design us to have failed marriages and kids out of wedlock. That's just not what it is. I don't see how we up here debating that. But I'm about to get up out for y'all. I got one more comment. We'll read that before I get up out of here, man. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 16:13. Thanks, Sheree. Got to get up out of here, y'all. It's been a pleasure. It's our first live of many. We're in an hour and 30 minutes. That's a good productive live. We got viewers still watching. We got people still watching at the end, man. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all subscribe. Y'all share it, man. Spread the word. We're trying to say the word here, man. This is coming from a place of love. I may talk harsh. I may come off a way that rubs people a certain way, but it's not. You got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. That's just what it is. Understand me? That's not my fault that Earth is difficult. But the things I've learned and processed have made my path and my journey significantly easier, especially when it comes to topic success. So I'll see y'all later. Till next time. The Vow of the Simp.